time for the John Emerald Distilling Coaches Show on the Columbus River Dragons Radio Network. Tonight's show is brought to you by John Emerald Distilling, Southern States Bank, BioLife Plasma, Midas Total Car Care, Vector Ply, and PMB Broadcasting. Now to catch you up on all things River Dragons hockey, let's start tonight's show with Zak DeBozart.
Thank you very much, Brian Thomas, and welcome into the studios here at PMB Broadcasting. We have another John Emerald Distilling Coaches Show on tap for you today. It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, about that time of the week. I'm Zak DeBozart, joined by the head coach, Jerome Boom Boom Bichard. Jerome, how we doing?
Pretty good, Zach. How are you?
I'm all right, and joined by our special player guest in today's show, who else but the captain, Josh Pietrantonio. Josh, good to have you.
Thanks for having me, Zach.
Well, it wasn't the best weekend in the world to start the season, but Jerome, we talked about it during the first couple of shows that, very, very new team, more parts new than were old from last season. What is your overall assessment before we start really breaking down into things, how Port Huron went?
Well, I think really kind of didn't know what to expect, but didn't like the outcome, obviously, but I thought we played well enough to win both games. I think we had some very bad miscues and missteps that caused goals that are very easy and simple to fix if our players will be disciplined enough to play a certain way, play my way as opposed to their way. Considering we had a couple guys kind of, that hadn't skated in a while and just meet us and never practiced with us. Oleg Zippy Shapitzin and Rich Letty coming up there or meeting us up there, and they helped tremendously. And then really just the young boys, the young kids actually played pretty well for the most part. We're very, very, very green on the back end on the blue line, and I just thought probably probably about half the game on both nights was very scrambly, and then we kind of settled into 5-10 minutes of the game when we actually played pretty well. We were executing, making some plays, and then something bad happens, and we just kind of fell back into scrambly hockey, and everybody running around doing whatever they needed to do, or what did they want to do, not what we needed to do.
Josh, what were your thoughts overall on the team? And obviously, this is not the same team that won the Ignite Cup championship last year. We all knew it was going to be a very different team, but what were your first impressions of it seeing in game action?
Yeah, for sure. New team, new year. Definitely like the effort that the boys gave. I saw a lot of fight from the guys. A lot of stuff, mistakes and stuff that ended up costing us this weekend is, like Coach was saying, easy fixes if guys buy in and play Boomer's system and the way he wants us to play. The intangibles that you can't teach, the heart of the guys, the fight. I really like that, seeing that this weekend. We got a little bit of a late start. Everyone else had a couple games under their belt. That was really our first test going into Port Huron, playing a team that had already played 2 games and kind of knocked the rust off. So obviously we expected a little bit of rust to be knocked off ourselves there. But yeah, if you take away those little mistakes, Boom put it well this morning at practice. We worked really hard at some of the wrong times and didn't work hard when we needed to at some times. You clean those things up, and I think we're in pretty good shape.
So is it almost a little work harder, not smarter, or work smarter, not harder?
Work smarter, not harder.
You guys are working harder, not smarter.
Like we worked hard. The effort was there. This and that, and we're in good shape, but we're not in great game shape. And I could see that. And then, I'd been there. You figure, you break out of your end here, and you go down in the offensive end, and you have a fairly, minute or 35, 40 seconds in the offensive zone, and it comes back in your D zone, you cannot change there. And I think what was happening is we'd go down, break out, offensive, back in our end, and we'd get the puck out, and, and not all the time, but on some of the plays that kind of probably hurt us, these guys would want to go, oh, I got the puck and I got a really good chance, and they would go down on the offensive side again, and all of a sudden that's a minute and a half shift and you got nothing left to come back and play defense. And something we talked about is maybe shorten our shifts, and I was trying to match, and maybe I'm trying to be too technical too early, and just let the guys go and play, and don't match lines, and hey, let's not worry about that. Let's keep our fresh guys out there 35-40 seconds off, 35-40 seconds off, and play it smarter that way. So
starting to break down some of these games. Identical 3-2 scores, both of them going in favor of Port Huron. First game, though, took overtime to get it done. Port Huron gets on the board first, Mo Levesque, the 3:42 mark, and then it took till the second period. We got our first goal of the season, and it's a new guy to the team. Robert Van Weinsberg assists to the D pair that was out there, Zach Sargis and Noah Doyle. But what I noticed from it, Van Weinsberg was the guy, Jerome, you had him out there with Krupp and Graham. What was that dynamic like out there for you?
Well, I mean, Rob's a big boy, and he skates pretty well for a big man, and he's got good hands or whatever. So, I mean, with MJ and Rob and Jay, I mean, they should be a line that if we break out and if we don't turn the puck over in the neutral zone being pretty, they should be able to dominate down low and create offensively. So, I mean, but we got to get down there. Like, I mean, we had a few, and that line had a few turnovers, and everybody did. And Port Huron is a small rink, bad ice, bad boards, hopping all over the place. And then you throw in the fact that we haven't played together. And then, just positionally not exactly where we need to be at some times, and this and that. So it was a little bit of scrambly, but no, Rob, I thought Rob played fairly well, and he hasn't played at a high level in a long time where you're on the ice every day and travel and all that stuff. I know he's played some pretty big some senior hockey back home, which is pretty good hockey, but senior hockey back home, you don't really practice a whole lot. It's just play weekend games and this and that. So,
also in the second period, Josh, you get your first point of the season. You and Dozer hook up on a nice little side-to-side pass, rink wide. Dozer gets the goal, 15:34 into the second period, gives Columbus the lead. Josh Pietrantonio, Richard Pinkowski picking up the assists. Josh, a nice little passing clinic you two put on there on that play. Remember it?
Yeah, a little bit. I just remember in the first period, I hit 2 posts, hit the goal in the head. I just couldn't buy one, so I was like, all right, I'm done shooting. I'm going to start giving it to the guys that have a little bit more confidence putting the puck in the net. No, that play was honestly all made by little Levi Armstrong driving the net there, pulled the defenseman down and gave me and Dozer the space to be able to have that opportunity to make that play. So took everyone on the ice there.
And that's another line really that got put together.
Not very often do you see a rink-wide pass go over to that side and come right back to the...
You guys went like 85 foot. It seems like
we had to make the goalie move, get off his angle.
Well, and then just like on that note, I know Levi had 2 or 3 good looks in that slot, and kind of the same way. Like, I mean, he had it and it made the goalie go from one side kind of over to the other. It wasn't all the way over, but he was right in the middle slot. And, I think our goaltending in the league is going to be good enough where once you get it, it's just got to be a quick shot. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you hold it in the middle of the slot and it's a 1 count, 2 count, 3 count, 4, more times than not, the goalie's going to make that save. And if we can get to the point where, and Dozer's goal is a perfect example of that. It was a pass and it was a 1 count and it was right in the net, and it wasn't a hard shot. It was just right on the post and
perfectly placed.
And that's really what I got to strive for our shooters is, stop taking 3 or 4 extra strides and just shoot the puck. It doesn't matter where you're at, just quick and put it on the net.
Shots is something that the River Dragons didn't exactly lack in this weekend. Of the 6 periods played, not really going to count overtime, it was only a minute 45, but of the 6 periods played, we outshot Port Huron in 4 of the 6 periods. And, maybe sometimes you could say quantity over quality, quality over quantity, whatever you might. But I think that shows offensively, you've got guys moving, you've got time there, and you're testing goaltenders.
No, I mean, I'd like to think if we ever get our Instat going, I'd like to think we had probably more puck possession both nights, and I thought we had some better sustained pressure in the offensive zone. I mean, don't get me wrong, we did get stuck in our end a couple times, but it was more scrambly than anything, and I didn't think Port Huron had any really, really, really strong sustained pressure and they got some quality shots too. But I mean, I thought we were actually making some plays in the offensive zone, creating where, we're in our D zone. I don't think they got as many quality shots in our D zone as we did, and it's not nearly as much puck possession in our end.
Indeed, and we look ahead to the third period from here. 2-1 lead going into the locker room. Justin Portillo, though, gets the goal at the 10:35 mark, ties up the game 2-2. And after that point, I feel like a lot of times, Josh, maybe you could speak to this, game gets tied somewhat late in the third period. Not necessarily everybody's thinking overtime, but I think a lot of guys are thinking, don't make the mistake that turns the lead over. And yet there were penalties aplenty. I think we had a 5-on-3 at one point. They had an extended, 5-on-4 stretch for a while. Like, there were chances for both those teams. Yet
we didn't have a 5-on-3, did we?
They had a 5-on-3. They did, excuse me. But last half of the third period, though, I feel like players are usually thinking, hey, don't make that mistake. And both sides really were giving up chances.
Yeah, this early in the season and with this many new guys to the league, to pro hockey on both sides of the roster, when that happens late in the game, you see a lot of guys gripping their stick. And obviously, their first thought is, I don't want to be the guy that blows this. I don't want to be the guy that screws this up. And when you do that, you have both teams doing that, and that's when the game kind of turns a little bit chaotic because guys aren't playing hockey anymore. They're not playing hockey freely anymore. They're more scared and stressed and gripping their sticks, and every puck, maybe instead of going through with your body because you're worried about hitting, you're going a little harder on your stick and you end up tripping a guy or something like that. So that's something that I find you'll see early in the season with a lot of new guys and new to the season, stuff like that. But I expect that to clean up, and that won't be as noticeable as the season goes on. Yeah, there was 4 different penalties in the last half of that third period, so there were opportunities for both sides there, but nothing doing. And then in the overtime period, 1:45 in, Stavros Soilis gets the overtime winner with an assist from Alex Johnson, just one of those pad passes, taps in. Obviously 3-on-3, there's so much ice out there, you're going to see a lot of stuff like that. But Jerome, I'm curious from your perspective, this is first game with a brand new team, and you got to figure out, who you're trusting out there for 3-on-3 between going to the old reliable core and, some of the new guys you got. How'd you balance that in the moment?
Well, I think I only had three guys out there, so I didn't really get a chance to really dig in and go on.
We were killing to start overtime.
The first minute, the first 45 seconds, I think we were shorthanded, so it ended up It ended up being 4-on-4, and really we only had one 3-on-3 pairing out there, and I mean, just kind of go gut feeling, and go from there.
Yeah. It's taking the loss, unfortunately, on that Soilis goal, but picking up a point, the first one of the season for the Dragons. And then we moved it on into Saturday's game, and it was deja vu. 1-0 Port Huron leads. Not exactly right off the bat, but 13:09 in, Isaiah Crawford picks up the goal. And then in the second period, River Dragons tie it up. Jay Krupp with an assist to MJ Graham. And that Krupp goal, his first of the year, got a little something going out there on the ice. Who wants to be the first one to talk about it?
I really didn't see what happened. I don't know.
I don't know if I should comment on what happened.
Well, Krupp scored a goal and may or may not have said something. And I guess Alex Johnson and company on the ice for Port Huron didn't like it and turned a little 5-on-5 tag team out there.
Yeah, some words were definitely said. Kruppy's not one to be shy or quiet, especially after scoring a goal like that. But honestly, that was great for team morale. Seeing all the guys on the ice back each other up, have each other's backs. Whether you're fighting a guy or not, getting in there and grabbing someone just kind of shows that you're bought in and gets all the guys going. So
what's wild to me, though, is out of all of that, there was only a 2-minute to Jay for unsportsmanlike and a 2-minute to Alex Johnson for roughing. Everyone else just basically got a free little scrap in, and all right, you can go back to your bench. So that's what I thought.
I really wasn't expecting that. I was expecting somebody to be short, or at least
more people in the penalty box.
Guys in the penalty box.
Yeah, the ref said to me, he's like, listen, he says, at the end of the day, we're going to even this up. I'm sure neither of your benches want to be missing 4 guys for the next 2 minutes plus, so I'm going to call the original on Croup. I'm going to call the retaliation on Johnson, and everybody else is just going to go back to their benches because I don't want to sort this out. I said, sounds good. We'll skate away.
Hey, you know what? That's a fair deal, I guess. Ended up taking it. 1-1 through 40 minutes of play, and then River Dragons have a lead again. 6:44 mark. Levi Armstrong picks up the goal. Josh, you were just talking about leading. So were you, Jerome. But Levi gets his first one as a River Dragon. The whole offensive line seemed to factor in. Take us through that play.
Dozer was coming around the net and made a great short side pass out to Levi to the point where I was standing on the other side of the net staring Corey Simons, their goalie, in the eyes because he was looking at me, and I still thought Dozer had the puck. And then I looked to my left with the goalie staring at me and watched Levi put it into an empty net. So, I mean, that was a great heads-up play by Dozer. Levi was Johnny on the spot there, and worked out well.
Former Cottonmouth guys, Tim Green and Tyler Keller, were on the same line for about 4 or 5 years, and they're both Alberta boys and this and that. We called that the worm play. Short side pass, kind of almost over the bottom of the net, and the pass is coming from, almost the far post kind of thing back to the other side. It worked about 5 times a year.
Yeah, it's pretty cheeky when you get it going well, just because obviously all the momentum's going around the net, and goalies, and once they see you start crossing the net, if there's bodies, they're assuming that you're coming around. Not a lot of guys can make that play, especially at that speed. It's a very tough play to make.
I think I've made that play a few times.
Yeah, you were in front of the net burying.
The Levi Armstrong goal makes it 2-1, and then unfortunately the River Dragons get bit by a familiar face over on the Port Huron side. Dalton Jay, who just seems to find ways to score no matter what the game is, whether it's a blowout one way or the other, a close game, gets a goal at 9:05, and then the shorthanded tally at 16:40. That ended up being the dagger to get the 3-2 win and take all 3 points. Josh, you're no stranger. You've played with and against Dalton Jay for many a year. I mean, that's just what that guy does, isn't it?
Yeah, we're actually from the same hometown too. Yeah, he's a pure goal scorer. Fast as lightning, and he's got a shot to go with it. If you give that guy any kind of time and space inside the zone, he's very similar to Jay Croup. It's going in the back of the net. He's a good goal scorer, and obviously on Saturday we saw him able to do what he does best. And that second goal, couple different things happened. Me and Boom might agree to disagree on this, but I think there was a series of unfortunate events that led up to that goal, with Huster getting injured in the corner as he went to make a play to Levi. Levi blew a tire on the wall, and it was basically turned into 2 guys dropped like flies and were kind of out of the play, and they had a 4-on-1 down low, and obviously made no mistake.
On that play, I think it was the whole line. I mean, it was MJ, and it was MJ's line, and kind of what I was talking about before, kind of a bad change, I think. Like, I mean, and I say, like, when you're changing, when you get out of the defensive zone and the puck doesn't go all the way into the far end and into the, when you're coming out of the defensive zone, you assume that the puck is getting dumped in, and you immediately go for a change, and it doesn't get dumped in. It comes to the red line, and it's coming right back. You can't change. So, and I think Jay went and changed, and questionable change, whatever, but Levi did get back to his position on the strong side. Husker gets hit. Levi I don't know why he fell, but he fell. And at the end of the day, MJ and Robbie were both on the offensive side of the blue line, expecting it just to come. So, it's something we were in practice. I mean, it's just simple. Like, we are playing defense until we break out. Like, I mean, you can't assume that this puck gets out of our end and cheat. We cannot cheat. That's not in our game plan. We will get our opportunities. We need to take care of our end before we go offensive. And you know what? I mean, that kind of got the ball rolling a little bit too. And then I'll be honest, I probably lost the game for us because I had people talking in my head. And, normally I would never try to load up a power play, and I probably did it at the wrong time. And I tried to put another forward out on the blue line to try to get the win, and it kind of backfired, and we got the loss. So kind of ticked off at myself a little bit on that one, and whether it is what it is. But I mean, we played well enough to win all 3 games. And we're just we were a roller coaster, or 2 games, sorry. We weren't
going to say anything.
Yeah, you were.
Well, you played really well to win 3 of 2.
We played well enough to win, but we were a roller coaster. We got to play consistent for 60 minutes, and kind of the same way.
Last thing I guess I'll say about the weekend is obviously, Jerome, you and I talked, what kind of game you get when you play Port Huron. They love to play that long bomb pass. I thought, just basing it off of what you saw Port Huron do against Danbury and Port Huron do against us, very small sample size, but I thought our D-Corps did a pretty good job, all things considered, of getting rid of that breakout and getting rid of that long bomb. Yeah, there was 1 or 2 breakaways, especially in Game 2. I mean, the Dalton J shorthanded goal is one thing for it, but really I can think of Crawford's goal where he just gets around a guy. That's the only one I can think clear-cut breakaway where they score on. Otherwise, I think we did a pretty good job limiting that, and shows you got some, solid defensive bodies back there.
Yeah. No, I like I said, we're kind of pleasantly surprised as far as that goes. And you know what? You got to give Port Huron credit. I mean, they play a certain style and they play it really well. And the one thing that they do is they work hard, and they're very consistent. They do the same thing over and over again. I don't think they're great in their D zone coverage. I don't think they're great but they are hard on a forward check, and they're hard on a back check, and their transition is pretty good.
So that's the weekend that was. 1 point out of 6. And now the River Dragons look ahead to a home opener against Carolina Thunderbirds. We're going to take a break. We'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about our captain, Josh Pietrantonio, as well, learn how his summer was, and cover all things FPHL as the John Emerald Distilling Coaches Show rolls on after this on the Columbus River Dragons Radio Network.
The Chattahooch's favorite place for spirits in the valley is John Emerald Distilling Company in Opelika. Conveniently located in beautiful downtown Opelika, they're open Monday through Saturday for tours, tasting, and bottle sales. Not in Opelika? No problem. From Birmingham to Columbus, there's plenty of places where John Emerald originals are sold. Check out some of their favorite recipes at johnemeralddistilling.com and give them a follow on social media at JED Spirits on Twitter and Instagram.
An injury can be a game changer. That's why Houston Sports Medicine Team provides urgent ortho care, Saturday morning injury clinics during hockey season, and an emergency room at Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. An injury can be a game changer, and immediate evaluation and care can be a game changer too. For more information, go to Houston.com or call 706-324-6661.
Dressing for success is as easy as 1, 2, 3 with Wade Cleaners. Drop off your garment at any one of their 5 convenient branches or call their valet manager to pick them up. Go do something fun. Walk your dog, eat a hot fudge sundae, or go to a movie. Leave the dirty laundry to them. Pick up your professionally cleaned garments or have them delivered at no additional charge to your home or office. Yes, you too can dress for success with Wade Cleaners. Oh, and don't forget the little people as as you move up in the world.
The countdown is on. The Columbus River Dragons are back on the ice in November, raising up a championship banner in the Civic Center. Don't miss out on any of what's sure to be a historic campaign. Secure yourself an Inside Edge Club membership to see every game in the 21-22 season. Memberships are on sale now at ourdragons.com or by calling 706-507-GOAL. That's 706-507-4625. The Dragons are seeking to go back-to-back in front of a packed house every night. So get ready to get loud, Columbus. Your hockey team is back.
It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to get crazy.
We are back here at the John Emerald Distilling Coaches Show. It's Tuesday night, getting near the bottom of the hour. We're talking all things River Dragons as we look ahead to this upcoming weekend, the home opener against Carolina Thunderbirds. I'm Zach DeBozart, the head coach, Jerome Bichard here as always, and our special player guest for tonight's show, team captain Josh Pietrantonio. Josh, you're no stranger to doing this show, whether it be here or other places, and of course the Columbus fans know plenty about you, so why don't we just start with the recent past? How was your summer?
It was interesting.
Yeah?
No, it was good. It was great seeing the family, getting to hang out with them for a bit. I really haven't spent much time at home in Canada in the last 10 years due to COVID situation and the border situation, all that stuff. My summer was a little bit extended back home, but I took full advantage of spending time with the family, so that was definitely nice.
And I know during the off season, you just shot a video for us, a little daily vlog, a chance to look into your life. And obviously, it's not as typical as a regular athlete would be because of what's currently going on with COVID. And like you just said, haven't been home in a bit. But one thing that I really took from out of it is, you're doing a lot of coaching and doing a lot of instruction up there as well. I'm not saying you're near the end of it, but is it one of those things where, you're finding a passion for coaching and, maybe looking at that?
Right now while I'm playing, it's always nice to give back to the game that gave so much to me. I don't know if I could transition over to full-time coaching once I'm done playing. This game I've been playing since I was 2, so it's been my life for the last 26 years. And my whole thing is I don't want to be known forever as a hockey player. Once this chapter ends, I'd kind of like to start a new chapter and build from there. As much as I love hockey and it's been great for me, I'm probably gonna have to take a little break when I'm done playing, just because of how intense and passionate I am about the game. But for right now, no, it's absolutely awesome being able to coach and give back, whether it's 3-4-year-olds learning how to skate and play, or 15, 16, 17, 18, all the way up to, I think the oldest guy that I skated with this summer was 24, a college kid. Just being able to...
Is he a better skater than you?
Everyone's a better skater than me.
Oh, no.
not a big skater. I think the game well. No, it's fun to give them little tips and tricks and stuff that I've learned over the years, and take little pieces of what I've learned in this town and that town and all that, and more about building these hockey players as people as well as hockey players is what's big for me.
Well, it certainly was. It was nice to see, and obviously we hope to keep you around for a little bit. And it's joy having you on
I
the
have
ice.
no immediate plans to hang up my skates by any means with that last little segment. I'm just saying when it's time, I'll know it's time, and it'll probably take a little step away for a bit.
But still, it's nice. Give back to the game. I mean, that's what it's all about for sure. And Jerome, I don't know about you, but what was your transition into coaching with all that sort of stuff? Because you were known as Boom Boom the player, and now you're known as Boom Boom the coach.
I transitioned fairly quickly. I retired 2003, and then after 2 years in the coast back here, and then they hired Brian Kern as the head coach, and I was assistant coach for a year, and then right after that I was the head coach and general manager for 13.
So it's what you knew you wanted to do right away out of playing, or?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I think earlier on, 2 years in New Haven, 4 years in Birmingham. I think the 4 years in Birmingham, I kind of knew I wasn't probably planning on going home back on the farm. Mm-hmm. And right from then, I think there were, Phil Roberto was the head coach over in Birmingham, and then came over here to Columbus. he was always kind of mentoring me or pushing me towards that. And in Birmingham, I was a captain. In Columbus, I was a captain. So I was never handed a player coach or assistant coach. And we did have a player assistant coach kind of spots, but at that time it was more of a ploy to pay your assistant coach a little bit more money and get an older player in. So I never really needed that handle or title. So I kind of was the guy anyways. And that's just a title, and it's kind of a way to get guys some more money to get a good player down here. So always kind of foreseen that and didn't need it. But so worked out pretty good. Phil was Bruce Garber coached my first year in Birmingham. Then they hired Phil for 3, and then Bruce was the coach here for 7, and then Brian Kern for a year, and then kind of stepped right in. So, and as far as coaching goes, I mean, you kind of take good from this guy, you take good from this guy, and you take the bad from that guy, and you take the bad from that guy, and you kind of mix it all in one bowl and say, this is the coach I want to be, and kind of go from there.
There you go. While we're on the topic of coaching and evaluating, if you will, and I talked with you a little bit on the bus, Jerome, about this, but overall,
slept all the way on the bus. He didn't talk to me about any.
That's
players.
not true. I had at least a couple of hours before I went down for the strong
headphones
nap.
in, and
I'm just kidding.
Logs from Zach.
But we talked about again, new team, a lot of new faces, and I mentioned it that one of the rookies or the new guys, if you will, that fans are going to get to know these guys. Who might their favorites be? For me, I really like the weekend I saw out of a guy like Hunter Bersani. You did mention, there was 1 or 2 times he made mistakes, but after that, he was one of those guys who was locked in solid, not afraid to forecheck. And I'm kind of curious, what were your high points for the new guys?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, you were talking about earlier about having confidence in some of the guys and who was going to play that 3-on-3. Mm-hmm. I just needed to have the confidence in some of the guys and to kill penalties and all that stuff. And I really thought all three of those young kids, Trevor Finch. What's it?
Finchy, yeah.
Is
Trevor.
That his first name?
Yeah.
I didn't know that until the other day.
What a coach! Love it.
But Finchy is a little guy. I mean, he's not going to hurt you, with big hits or anything like that. But man, he's pretty much spot on positionally, and he works hard. Anderson, I thought played pretty good, and Hunter Bersani, that line, I have no problem playing those guys against really anybody. They're pretty positionally sound, pretty defensive minded, and they both, and all of them have a little bit of offensive upside. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with those guys, to be honest with you.
Pedro, not to put you on the spot, any favorite rookies from you for this weekend so far?
On the ice or off the ice?
Let's start on the ice. See how long that segment goes.
No, honestly, yeah, like Boom said, pleasantly surprised. You can only see so much in practice of the guys. You can see clippets of skill here and there, but you can't really see how it's going to translate into the game until obviously you're in a game situation. And I thought all 27 of our new guys, what do you call them, first-year men?
First-year boys, yeah. First-year men, not rookies.
Not allowed to call them rookies, first-year men. No, I thought they all, for the most part, held their own. Obviously, there were some mistakes, but there were some mistakes from all the guys on the ice. I don't think anyone had a perfect weekend by any means. I don't think there's such thing in hockey. But no, I really like the effort and the way they kind of bought into the system. And it was good.
Did you want to get into your favorite rookie off the ice while keeping it FCC regulatable?
No, I was just kidding. I love them all the same. They're all my little sons.
Well, it's certainly it's a new look team, but it's a team that's growing together, and now we got home games to talk about. But let's take another break. When we come back, we'll start talking about upcoming games against Carolina, raising a banner on Friday, some giveaways, some fun stuff to talk about after this on the John Emerald Distilling Coaches Show, Columbus River Dragons Radio Network.
At Southern States Bank, the Common Sense Bank, we're a true community bank that supports the places we serve. Our people live, work, and play in your community. And you will find us cheering for the River Dragons right alongside you in the stands. With convenient locations throughout Alabama and Georgia, we're never too far away to handle any of your financial concerns. Call, click, or come by and see how we can help you make sense out of your banking. Visit us online at southernstatesbank.net. Southern States Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 410611.
Work on your property never ends. Whether you're mowing, tilling, planting, grading, drilling, hauling, or anything in between, come see us at SunSouth. We'll help you find the John Deere tractor that's right for you with the implements you need to get your projects done faster, more efficiently, and more affordably. And right now at SunSouth, you can get 0% financing for 72 months on select John Deere tractors. Come see us at SunSouth. Equipment for those that do.
Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer expires November 30th, 2021.
Let Shredaway, a division of the Overbee Company, take care of all your document shredding needs. We can design a custom shredding program for your business today. No need to purchase equipment, no maintenance expenses, no need to prepare records for destruction, increase employee productivity, increase security. No worry. Was it really destroyed? Right now, all new customers can receive 10% off. Shredaway, a division of the Overbee Company, locally owned and operated in downtown Columbus. That's Shredaway, 706-577-9668.
The countdown is on. The Columbus River Dragons are back on the ice in November, raising up a championship banner in the Civic Center. Don't miss out on any of what's sure to be a historic campaign. Secure yourself an Inside Edge Club membership to see every game in the 21-22 season. Memberships are on sale now at ourdragons.com or by calling 706-507-GOAL. That's 706-507-4625. The Dragons are seeking to go back-to-back in front of a packed house every night. So get ready to get loud, Columbus. Your hockey team is back.
Welcome back in. John Emerald Distilling Coaches Show here on a Tuesday. It's November 9th. It's a little bit past the bottom of the hour now. I'm Zach DeBozart, Josh Pietrantonio, the captain's here alongside, of course, the head coach himself, Jerome Boom Boom Bichard. And guys, now we get to look ahead to these upcoming games against Carolina. And first of all, we're going to get really familiar with Carolina real quick. So our next 5 games are against them, but 2 this weekend, coming up Friday and Saturday at the Civic Center. Tickets available, Ticketmaster and the Civic Center box office. Friday and Saturday, both 7:30. We got banner raising on Friday, poster giveaways both days. It's going to be a huge time, and just to get back into the Civic Center, got to be feeling good, right, Jerome?
Yeah, pretty excited to be back home after last year and put on a show for the fans. Now that we have kind of full capacity, even though we do have to wear masks, but that's fine. No, it's always nice to be back home and get to sleep in our own beds. And actually, I have a busy day on Saturday. I got to go show some about 10 houses before the game on Saturday. So, anyways, hectic.
Pulling double,
and then on Sunday too. No day off for Boomer. Hockey show houses Saturday.
You can give us one, and then you can have one.
I'm kind of interested to hear your perspective on this, Josh, because obviously, you played there for a couple of years and know pretty well, a lot of people in that organization. But just with the way things have been going, there's a lot of people that are new in that. I mean, the Carolina-Columbus rivalry is still going to be a thing, but I have to wonder for you, it's almost, I think you're maybe losing some of the faces there. There's only a select few to focus on of former teammates of yours, eh?
Yeah, honestly, isn't it better that way for the rivalry?
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I'll do it, but it's not fun hurting your friends. It's easier hurting guys you don't know. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm excited. They got a pretty good team again, good organization. Obviously, with the close proximity to each other and how often we play them, we're going to be seeing a lot of them. They're going to be seeing a lot of us. We're going to get in each other's faces. It's going to get down to the nitty gritty and some pretty hard-nosed hockey in a hurry here. So yeah, I mean, maybe not the first game or second game, but by the third, fourth, and fifth game of 5 in a row against the same team, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, do you have the vibe of like a playoff series with this when you look at the schedule and see that many times in a row? Because to Josh's point, first and second, okay, maybe not, but then you think you got a whole week to stew on that to go see that team again.
Yeah, I didn't even realize we were playing them 5 games in a row.
I didn't know that either.
Until today. I knew it was back-to-back, and I thought it was 3. Anyways.
It's 3 in a row at the Civic Center because we do a home and home next weekend with them.
Right. So, I mean, you know what? It's a little bit different team. So, it's got a new coach, so they'll have a different attitude than Andre, I'm sure, a little bit anyways. But they're always going to be good. I think they're one of the better places to go to. But they are missing some big pieces of the puzzle from what they had last year. So, again, don't really know the coach, don't really know the systems they're going to be playing. So, we'll maybe watch a couple games here tomorrow and Thursday and get some of their tendencies and what they're trying to do. And I know it's pretty early to even kind of pick up systems, just because I wouldn't know what my system was if I watched our game. If I watched our
makes it harder to scout.
Yeah, it's really tough to scout. So, I think more on the lines, along the lines of, scouting their personnel and kind of see who their top guys are.
Friday and Saturday, Carolina Thunderbirds are in town taking on your Columbus River Dragons. 7:30 puck drops both days, means 7 o'clock pregame shows right here on the River Dragons radio network. All the same stations you're hearing the game on. Plus, we got the YouTube page rolling as well. And just from my own perspective, it'd be nice to be in the home building, get a stable place, because I know fans were very frustrated with that. Man, we were trying everything to make it work. It was rough.
Yeah. No, hopefully, obviously we know what we have here, and that's nice. Where's Foghorn Langhorn tonight?
I don't know. He and ownership, Shannon, they were all running around like crazy. I got out of the office at like 5:30. Josh beat me to the studio. That tells you the kind of day in the office we were having.
Well, it is home opener weekend. There's a lot of stuff that needs to get done before Friday, so I understand that. But it's nice to hear Loudmouth Soup over there. Kind of
the peanut gallery.
Well, I was expecting him to have some type of promotion stuff to talk about. I know you usually do, but I mean, you always throw it over to him.
Well, I mean, we got it pretty simple right now. We're raising a banner on Friday. We're going to have a collectible poster series. It's only for a handful of nights. The first 2 will be there, and I think there's only 4 or maybe 5 posters throughout the year to collect as part of a set. And those will be announced as we get closer and closer to them. But you got 2 nights of posters, you got a championship banner being raised, and you got Carolina in town. I don't know how much more promotion you're going to need, especially for our fans.
So we have a poster night one of these nights?
Yes, for Friday and Saturday, actually. It's going to be a double up.
Oh.
Yeah, so
should be something new.
It should be fun. And our poster night is helped powered by Buffalo Rock Distributing and Pepsi. So we're excited to be partnering with them and getting things rolling on that point. And there's going to be a whole lot more coming up after that, because you got specialty jerseys planned out. It's going to be a fun year. The year like this, to return it back to normal in some way, I feel like is what a lot of people are going to have, just some relief in. It'll be overdue, and it'll feel nice to go to the rink, have a full crowd, and just get back to it.
And play 56 games or 54 or however many more than last year's 2017 or whatever.
We need to get the Civic Center folks to talk to the boys up in Michigan. It was because there was no mask, there's no nothing. It was normal up there, I think. No.
I don't. That was the thing I saw too. So,
anyways, hey, it's all right. I'm sure everyone deals with everything differently, but it's all good. We'll get to that point eventually, I'm sure.
Columbus River Dragons, Carolina Thunderbirds. 2 games coming up Friday and Saturday, both at 7:30. Get your tickets at the Civic Center box office or on Ticketmaster. Let's take another break. When we come back, we're going to conclude the show. We're going to be just talking around the Fed and just shooting the breeze until we get out of here. It's 7 o'clock, right at the top of the hour. Back to close out the show after this on the Columbus River Dragons radio network.
The Chattahooch's favorite place for spirits in the valley is John Emerald Distilling Company in Opelika. Conveniently located in beautiful downtown Opelika, they're open Monday through Saturday for tours, tasting, and bottle sales. Not in Opelika? No problem. From Birmingham to Columbus, there's plenty of places where John Emerald originals are sold. Check out some of their favorite recipes at johnemeralddistilling.com and give them a follow on social media at JED Spirits on Twitter and Instagram.
Dressing for success is as easy as 1, 2, 3 with Wade Cleaners. Drop off your garment at any one of their 5 convenient branches or call their valet manager to pick them up. Go do something fun. Walk your dog, eat a hot fudge sundae, or go to a movie. Leave the dirty laundry to them. Pick up your professionally cleaned garments or have them delivered at no additional charge to your home or office. Yes, you too can dress for success with Wade Cleaners. Oh, and don't forget the little people as you move up in the world.
At Southern States Bank, the Common Sense Bank, we're a true community bank that supports the places we serve. Our people live, work, and play in your community. And you will find us cheering for the River Dragons right alongside you in the stands. With convenient locations throughout Alabama and Georgia, we're never too far away to handle any of your financial concerns. Call, click, or come by and see how we can help you make sense out of your banking. Visit us online at southernstatesbank.net. Southern States Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 410611.
Progress. It's the belief that your life should be easier, that life should be fun, and that the best is yet to come. With us, you have a provider who pours everything into bringing progress home. And it's not just some big name in a faraway glass tower. That provider is here. That provider is Beam. With local service and faster internet, the only place you're going is forward. And we're taking you there. Progress. Your Beam. Your way.
The countdown is on. The Columbus River Dragons are back on the ice in November, raising up a championship banner in the Civic Center. Don't miss out on any of what's sure to be a historic campaign. Secure yourself an Inside Edge Club membership to see every game in the 21-22 season. Memberships are on sale now at ourdragons.com or by calling 706-507-GOAL. That's 706-507-4625. The Dragons are seeking to go back-to-back in front of a packed house every night. So get ready to get loud, Columbus. Your hockey team is back.
Cause we'll be screaming out, we can be heroes everywhere we go. We can have all that we ever want.
Welcome back in. One final time for tonight on the John Emerald Distilling Coaches Show. I'm Zach DeBozart. We've got Jerome Boom Boom Bichard and Josh Pietrantonio, team captain, here with us for the next 10, 12 minutes or so, closing out, getting to 7 o'clock at the top of the hour. All these same radio stations is where you will hear the Fort Benning Harley-Davidson pregame show, 7 o'clock on Friday and Saturday for 7:30 puck drops against Carolina Thunderbirds, which we just talked about in the last segment. One thing we didn't talk about in the last segment, guys, though, is we only took 1 point out of 6 from our last weekend. Carolina took 0 out of 6 from their last weekend. The Watertown Wolves swept them, and I believe it was identical, 6-4 scores. If you would have told me both teams were on 2-game losing streaks in different ways coming into this, I'd have been very surprised. Wouldn't you, Jerome?
Yes, or, be honest with you, yeah, didn't expect that. But we're on the road. Were they on the road? Was that in Watertown?
No, they were at home.
At home, yeah, that one. Yeah, that's a surprising one. Not too many happy people in Carolina.
No, I would say so. And, Josh, to your point, you said game 1 and game 2, maybe not as much animosity, but 3, 4, and 5 definitely. I mean, does the fact that both teams are on losing streaks, maybe trying to turn some fortunes around early, think it's going to be a little gritty game 1 to start?
I mean, yeah, you're trying to win every game, aren't you?
Well, of course, but
yeah, I mean, I'm sure their game plan after losing 2 is very similar to our game plan after losing 2. Clean things up, learn from it, leave it in the past, and try and move forward and take the positives away and grow. So I think on both ends, you're going to see a better product than each team put out last weekend. And I mean, that's what hockey is, building every week and trying to hit your stride at the right times and get it rolling.
Taking a look at the standings page and the Zelmo Zip-In look around the league, Danbury, idle last week, yet still sits atop because of the point percentage and all the silliness of early season. Danbury at 5 points up top, ahead of 2 teams with 9 points, but it's the percentages. Watertown and Binghamton, both sitting at 9 points, 3-1 on the year. Carolina 500 at 2-2. Port Huron, we know, is 500 after taking 5 points from us, but only 1 point from Danbury. And then Columbus sitting on 1 point at 6. Delaware still looking for their first points, sitting 0-4 on the season. Early look at the standings board, and I see the expansion team Binghamton they're looking pretty good, and they had a pretty big crowd. Is Binghamton something to worry about potentially? Maybe making some noise in this league, Jerome? You think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, an expansion team, you want to put on a good show and have a good product, and I guess we won't know until we see them. It's really young. It's really young in the season. We're 2 games in. Everybody else has 4 and 5 or whatever it is, and we'll catch up to them and be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day.
It's a long season. Everyone's got 50 games
That's
left.
right. Yeah.
And I'm probably pretty sure we've talked about this. Most of my teams end up starting kind of slow, kind of stumble out of the block a little bit, and I don't know if that's me. I know maybe I'll change. Maybe I've changed my ways. Petro, I did raise my voice once today. So
what was it about?
Just
demanding effort and
again the
execution. That's what it was.
Execution. The effort's always there. The effort's for the most part always there, and it's just execution. And if you can't execute in practice, it's not going to happen in a game. And I don't want you to try stuff like that in practice. I want you to let it happen during a game. But for the most part, just practice like we're playing, like it is a game, and it means something. I know we usually do Juice Boy or whatever once a week for that, and I hate it. I hate it because guys don't try to score; they try different stuff or jacking around.
Well, that's why we call it Juice Boy, because if you lose, then you're in charge of buying juice for the locker room. So it entices guys to try and score and save their wallets.
There's a lot of guys in Juice Boy that probably shouldn't have been in Juice Boy at the end.
Can the fans get the rules to Juice Boy and know what's going on?
It's just
once you score,
you take a penalty shot, and once you score, you're out. Once you score, you're done.
You're safe.
And the last person to score has to buy whatever gum or juice for the locker room.
Shooting 10 to 15 times, and it just irks me because some of the guys are there farting around and trying to try some different stuff and whatever, and then the goalies get bored and they just let pucks in and whatever. So I'd really like to put $20 on the table and say, hey, winner gets $20, and then everybody perks up a little bit.
There you go. All right. So we learned what Juice Boy is today on the show.
We can give that a go. Who's fronting the 20?
More than likely me.
But
I think that is that's probably a salary cap violation. So it's probably not me. It's probably going to be a sponsor.
Yeah, I'd have to consult the rule book on that one, perhaps. But all right, so we learned what Juice Boy is today. That's fun. Obviously, games coming up this weekend. We mentioned Carolina and Columbus, 2 games coming up at the Civic Center. We got Wednesday night hockey in the Fed, though. We have got Watertown at Danbury, 7:00 puck drop over at the Danbury Ice Arena, and then your weekend slate looks like this. Danbury is at Port Huron for 2 games Friday and Saturday. Binghamton is at Delaware on Friday, and then Watertown is at Binghamton on Saturday. So not a full bye week for anybody, just some split games. So everybody's going to play at least one this weekend. And I'm kind of curious your thoughts, Jerome, because we had a bye weekend start the season. Didn't feel like a bye weekend, just felt like the beginning of the season. But as a coach or even as a player, because you were in the SPHL and the ECHL at times, you had odd-numbered leagues, so you'd have to deal with bye days or bye weeks. What do you prefer?
It doesn't happen very often in this league or whatever, but I mean, sometimes it comes at a perfect moment when the guys, you've played a lot of hockey and you need a little bit of a break, and it's kind of nice to, take a weekend off, and and I'm not sure if we have one coming down the stretch, like near the end. I think maybe we do.
I think it's deep in the season if it is.
And it's kind of nice to, hey boys, take that's another house call, guys. Boom Boom's always selling houses, you guys. No, actually, it's I turned 52, and for whatever reason, I'm on this call asking for Medicare. See if I've got my Medicare A and B or whatever it is. So
yeah, I get those all the time too. They come up as potential spam on
I don't
on
get
the phone.
that. They changed the number. But no, it's kind of nice to give the boys a couple days off late in the season and rest up a little bit and get their mind straight and ready for the playoffs.
Josh, where do you stand on the debate? Bye weekends, bye days?
I'd much rather have a bye weekend than just a bye day.
Yeah, I like bye weekends. Depending on when they are in the season, earlier in the season, it's good. Gives the guys a lot of time to get together and do a little bit of extracurriculars, whether it be a bowling night or a cookout or whatever it may be, just to kind of get close. I mean, we spend every day with each other for at least a few hours, but
they spend hours together in a bus.
Yeah, but it's just not the same as being outside of your typical quote unquote work environment and just being able to let loose and getting to know guys on different levels. So bye weekends are definitely good for stuff like that and coming together, and maybe a green light here and there on a bye weekend. But
well, that's the Fed schedule. No team on a bye weekend, just some teams flip-flopping around, and your Columbus River Dragons taking on the Carolina Thunderbirds in a 2-game set. Got a couple more minutes left here in the show, guys, and I guess we can go ahead and tease some news that we got coming down the pipeline, but got to give you congratulations. First loan of the season, in season, if you will. Richie Pinkowski heading to Quad City.
Yeah, apparently they're shorthanded and they needed a defenseman, so...
Wait, Jay Krupp wasn't available? He was listed as D there, wasn't he?
Yeah, obviously.
I didn't think Scott was here, but...
Wow.
You know what? I mean, it's always good to see a young fellow get an opportunity that they want to do that. But we're gonna see where it goes. And I mean, I think I had another call for another player today too. And you know what? It's just a matter of timing. You don't want to hold anybody back, but at the same time, is it right for you as a player and right for us as the team? And for the most part, I mean, like right now, I would say the stuff that's happening in the SPHL, you know, more than likely you're going to be a fill-in player for a couple weeks. So, I mean, how badly do you want it? How good a situation do you have it here? What's the situation you're going to go? Like you go there and you play 5 shifts in 5 games, or 2 shifts in 10 games. Like you're not learning. It's not helping you at all progress. And I think at that point they almost want a security blanket type thing. So, anyways, it's good for Pinky, and wish him luck, and hopefully he has a good stay up there, and hopefully everything works well.
Josh, you've seen that firsthand because you spent a whole year in the SPHL. And first, you were bounced around a couple of teams, but then you settled in at Knoxville pretty well. What was that? What was that process like? Was it something similar to what Boom said?
Yeah, I was back and forth between Birmingham 2 or 3 times, and then I went to Macon for a game. And then, to be completely honest, when Knoxville called me, I told the coach, I asked the coach straight up what his plans were, because I was not about to pack up my bags and move for a 4th time and just to be a weekend filler. And he was like, hey, I'm going to give you ice time this weekend. What you do with it's up to you. And the cards fell the way they did, and I ended up sticking out the rest of that year there, and then I was up there for a game before we started last season and made my decision to come back here, and glad to be in Columbus.
Well, there you go. All right, well, that's going to do it for tonight's edition of the John Emerald Distilling Coaches Show. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you, Josh, for spending the time with us here. And remember, River Dragons are back on the ice, on home ice, Friday and Saturday night at the Columbus Civic Center. Tickets available, Civic Center box office or on Ticketmaster. You've got the poster edition series coming out both Friday and Saturday. Got the banner raising ceremony Friday night. It's going to be a lot of fun. And oh yeah, Carolina's in the building, so we know fans love to get up for that one as well. Going to be a great weekend of hockey. Hope you stick with us right here on the River Dragons Radio Network or on our YouTube page. Just search Columbus River Dragons on YouTube. For Josh and Jerome, I'm Zach DeBozart. We'll see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.
You've been listening to the John Emerald Distilling Coaches Show on the Columbus River Dragons Radio Network. Tonight's show was brought to you by John Emerald Distilling, Southern States Bank, BioLife Plasma, Midas Total Car Care, Vector Ply, and PMB Broadcasting. All rights to this broadcast are reserved for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other distribution of the descriptions or accounts of the show may not take place without the express written consent of Ignite Sports and Entertainment and PMB Broadcasting. This has been a presentation of the Columbus River Dragons Hockey Club.